In May of 2019, this man, bored at his day job, decided he needed a way to tell the world who he was. He became Mr. Moo and began work on a 2D action and puzzle platformer, Stolen Hearts. Back then, he couldn't grow a mustache. During this time, he dreamt to finish Stolen Hearts and sell it for millions. He spent 4 years learning the craft and applying what he learned on his dream game. He didn't learn to grow that mustache though, but he did learn where to buy a fake one. But then, in May of 2023, he decided to stop working on Stolen Hearts and canceled the release. Instead, he's been working on a new game. What happened to Stolen Hearts? In this exclusive interview, we'll learn the truth of this failed experiment. I'm Chuck Mooerton, and this is the Moo Report. Today's guest, Mr. Moo. Mr. Moo, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
4 years is a long time to be working on a game that ultimately you won't be releasing. Aren't you upset that you've wasted all this time? You'll never get it back.
Well, Chuck, 4 years is a long time, but you have to realize that 4 years ago, I never made a game before, right? So this whole time has been a learning process for me. During this time, I've made a bunch of small games along the way, right? Like game jams and other projects. I even released a free multiplayer game on Steam, right? So it's not as though this is the only thing that I've been working on for 4 years, right? Not to mention I have a full-time job and I've had one since the beginning. But yeah, for the past 4 to 4.5 years, this has been my main project. And the fact that I'm no longer releasing it in the way that I thought I was going to, of course, is disappointing. It's a tough pill to swallow.
When I look at this game, I say, this has been taking you 4 years? It's a 2D platformer. You're not exactly making Breath of the Wild here. It's pixel art, for Pete's sake. What's been taking you so long?
Well, there are a few reasons for that. First, I'm no good at pixel art. I'm better than I was when I started, but it's a very iterative process. Basically, all the assets I have in my game, I've done over and over, right? Trying to get it as good as possible, but still end up feeling as though it's not that great, right? I've spent countless hours doing that. Secondly, I get curious pretty frequently, right? And I want to try new things. For example, I was very interested in doing 3D. And instead of finishing this game and starting a new game that was 3D, I said, I'm going to put 3D into this game, right? And so I added a 3D boss to 4 playable characters and then another final boss at the end. And you can imagine how this expanded the scope. Thirdly, and this ties into the other two, I feel as though I want to make this game as unique as possible, right? So I try to make every single detail my own. But this led me to spend tons of time on things that just didn't need to be in the game at all.
You have hours and hours of playable content. What are you going to do with all of that?
With all the levels I have already designed, I'm not sure yet. But the game is filled with a variety of platforming mechanics, right? 4 different characters with 4 different abilities, interactive environment, and I've been repurposing all of that work to create a new game, Stolen Hearts Wolf Knight, which is available for wishlist, and you can play the demo on its own Steam page, which is a new Steam page. So if you looked at the other one, that one is no longer in. This one is in now. Link in the description, link in the bio.
But why create a new game? Why not finish the one you started?
I got to a point where I made a playable demo and I started showing it off to people in my area. And I discovered that there were a few things that were preventing it from being a commercial success, right? Getting a lot of sales would be really difficult for a few reasons. First, the gameplay was too varied. I had all these characters with different abilities and different environments. I was basically making 4 games at once. I thought that a wide variety of gameplay would be a big draw for possible buyers, but actually the inverse was true, right? No one understood what this game was about. They wouldn't know what they're buying. Trying to get a narrative out about 4 characters from 4 different worlds and 5 bosses is not exactly concise storytelling.
What is the story of this new game?
Exactly. In this new game, I'm slicing off 1 world, 1 character, 1 boss from the old game, and in the new game, I'm just focusing on that and expanding on that. This is the intro cutscene from the game that you'll see as soon as you press play for the first time. I see you were inspired by How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Is that right? We actually did get Jim Carrey to do the motion cap for the wolf. So what makes you think that Stolen Hearts Wolf Night is going to be more commercially successful than Stolen Hearts might have been? Well, I don't know that it will be at all, right? But I feel as though I understand my game much better now. And I'm much more excited for its future than I've ever been before. What makes Stolen Hearts Wolf Night special then? Tell me that, if you're so smart. I realize that I'm still making a 2D pixel art platformer, which may not be the most innovative genre or the most sought after genre, oversaturated market, but I do think that it's a bit different from the other games that I've played at least. Well, in Stolen Hearts Wolf Night, I am trying to add my favorite parts of other games in this genre. I've spent a lot of time trying to keep the controls as tight as possible, so it's got all the things like variable jump height, dash, wall jump, ledge grabs, bouncing, things like this, right? Basic platform mechanics. But then you also have the ability to defeat enemies and take their power. Kind of like Kirby. Become a wolf yourself or an owl and carry the heart back to safety. You need to protect it with your life because if it gets harmed, so do you. There are even optional collectible fireflies in every level as an additional challenge, right? That are a little tougher to get to, or you have to be smart about your movements. There's a 3-star and diamond system based on how quickly you finish each level. And yes, I'm keeping the 3D boss. And when can we expect Wolf Night to be released? Well, I've been 6 months away from finishing my game for about 2 years now, so I'd probably say 6 months. Mr. Moo, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for having me. You can play the Stolen Hearts demo today for free on Steam. You can wishlist it right then and there. That will help a lot. And join us next time when we ask Fall Guys, are they human? I'm Chuck Moorton, and I'm signing off.